Hello, everybody, and welcome to this very, very first Table Ready live stream for 2023. I am Harry from Fog of War, and this is...
Hi, I'm Christian from Painting Panzers.
And we're having some technical difficulties with our Adam. He's fallen off again, so hopefully we will get him back. So I might be looking a bit more scrofulous than usual, because I haven't left this room in 2 weeks. I'm in COVID isolation at the moment and still testing red hot positive. So yes, the old beard has flourished a little, hidden away here in my new studio. What have you been up to, Christian? How was your Christmas and New Year?
Well, I was recovering from COVID the last time we got together.
Yeah.
So hats off to you for coming on, because I just was out of it for that live stream, which I'm bummed to have missed. But in terms of what I've been up to, not a whole lot. Just, painting. I've been painting some 20mm stuff, and I'll be getting back into Flames of War soon.
Yeah, you released a couple of really nice tutorials though, didn't you?
Yeah, so I've been doing
German summer cam.
Yeah, so I'm doing a whole series on German cam, but in 20mm, just because the detail's a little bit better. You can make out the cam a bit more. So I'm going to focus on all of them as much as I can anyway. I'm not going to go too crazy, but like I've got P-Dot coming up. I've got the Italian camo, Spring coming up as well, Splinter, so the whole lot.
Yeah, they look really, really good. So if you guys haven't seen those tutorials, you really should. There's been the square root of nothing on my channel because I've been stuck in here and I tested positive on Christmas Eve. So what got thrown in here on Christmas Eve?
You released a helicopter video though, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I got some very badly squashed plastic 1/100 scale Puma helicopters from Argentina that I was able to review with what I have to hand around me in here. But I've written a bunch of scripts, so there's a whole bunch of stuff for Red Dawn that should be coming up soon. So BTRDs, BMDs, the really, really nice T64 BV kit. I don't know if you guys have seen that. But yeah, I've got the script. Yeah. Oh, it's a lovely build. It's really nice. So, Adam, can you hear us at all? Oh, and now we can't hear him. Great.
It's the opposite.
Technology. Gotta love our technology. Anyway, so the plan for today is that we're going to talk about Battlefront's Christmas message. One of the new traditions that we have as players now for these games is that we really look forward to Pete's Christmas message every year from Battlefront. So we're going to go through that, and hopefully at some point Adam will be able to join us and contribute to this. I can hear that he can hear us. Let me take him off and then add him to the stream again. Boop. Hey, Adam.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I don't know what the hell. But anyway.
Yeah, chucking you off and bringing you back on again seems to have worked.
Yeah.
So we were doing a bit of a thing in the comments beforehand, talking about where everybody was, and we've got people from Wales and Germany and Sweden and Canada and Australia and
Germany.
All sorts of stuff. Yep. Somebody was threatening that Frank might turn up from Scotland. That would be nice.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. But we'll see him when we see him.
Yeah. Oh, great. We've got a couple new fellas. Walkabout Games. Benjamin Stunland, I think. Haven't seen him before. That's great. And we've got some old favourites like Treklan, Ernst.
Yeah, Trekan.
Oscar, Alad, and Matt, I think, Steggy. Cool.
All right. Oh, Trekan says he can hear Adam as well.
Oh, good. Excellent.
Okay, so...
Apologies, one or the other.
Yeah, one or the other. All right, so, yeah, this is our plan. This is what we're supposed to be doing today, is going through Pete's Christmas message. And if there's enough time at the end of it, we'll go through our plans for 2023, because one of the things we don't seem to be able to do as a group is to stick to time. Yeah, we tend to have too much fun. Yeah. So let's have a bit of a talk about what's going on here. So the big new release is Berlin, isn't it? So coming up for Flames of War, we got 2 Berlin books, Berlin Soviet in February, and Pete said that Berlin German would be later a couple of months. So there's no firm date for that. Who's excited for stuff in this?
I am.
Yeah,
And I think the Soviets that like Shermans will probably be excited for Soviet Berlin as well.
yeah, because they do get the M4A2 in plastic, don't
the
they?
MCHs.
Mm. I'll be looking forward to that because if I remember correctly, M4A2s were a big chunk of Lend-Lease for the British too. But there should have been a lot of M4A2s as well as M4A4s.
Yeah, they did have some 76 mil.
Yeah, I'm talking about 75.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that. Didn't they like the diesel ones better than the petrol ones or something? Because I heard the Soviets were the only ones that got a lot of the diesel ones. The Marines, I think, got some as well, but yeah.
Yeah, the Marines got them in the Pacific, which would be useful. I thought there was a lot of M4A2s in British service, but again, I'll look that up again. So yeah, February, Soviets. What sort of new things do we think the Soviets are going to get, guys?
I don't know if they'll get new things. I think they'll get better Soviets. I think you might tend to have more of those elite. So, maybe not everyone's hit on 3s anymore.
Yeah.
People might be hit on 4s. Yeah, I tend to think there probably will be a few odd new things, so like the MCHs, but I think what you'll mostly be seeing is better Soviets, more experienced Soviets, that sort of thing. Yeah.
The spring bed armor would be cool to see come back.
Yeah.
The little
That would be
plastic
fun.
sprue for your IS-2s in that.
I like the idea of it. I think it'd be cool as a modeling thing. But the actual upgrade that they sold looked like just a box with like a frame of a box. If there'd be a way that or you could do it yourself, put some like little squiggly stuff on to make it look more like bed spring armor.
But the old set, it did look decent, didn't it? I've got some in here.
I thought it was pretty simplified. But
it looked just like a box with some lines on it. Well, I can't remember. It's been a while. I'd never actually had them, so I don't know. But from what I saw, it's captured Soviet. Yeah. Well, the Soviets can already get captured Panthers, in Bagration, and Tigers and things like that. But
self-propelled 203 howitzers. I'm guessing probably not.
I reckon you might find a command card for that.
Okay.
Because didn't they already produce a model for that thing? Is that the thing you're talking about? That massive howitzer on
howitzer on tracks, yeah. So that would have to be a resonant metal rather than a plastic. But yeah, maybe they will. Are there any more Soviet late war Leviathan things to come out?
No, because T-44, as Trickland said, they're already out in the mid-war monsters. You've got your KV3s and your KV5s. Who knows? Maybe we might see an IS-3. I doubt it. That could be in the Soviet version of the late war Leviathans, but
yeah, I'm guessing that's going to be more Checkpoint Charlie though.
Yeah, maybe.
It's hard to think of what new stuff the Soviets will actually end up with because they pretty much got from like what I can think of like most of the essential stuff.
But are there some different formations for the run into Berlin that they might?
There probably is. There probably is.
Yeah.
I didn't really play a lot of late war. Soviets, I can't remember.
Trekan's hoping for T-44s. I'm guessing probably not.
What was that little thing on a tractor with the like little AT gun that was on there, or big AT gun? I can't remember. I don't know anything about Soviets.
That's the 203 mil howitzer on tracks. Yeah. So this is the new box set that's coming out for that, the Clash of Steel. I've put the back of it on rather than the front with the artwork because I wanted to talk a little bit about what's in it. There's a lot of fun stuff in here. So what do the Germans get? You get a Jagdtiger, Panzer 470, some Panthers, and some infantry. So that's 6 tanks all up. And the
Interesting
Soviets
mix,
get
actually.
8. Yeah. So the Soviets get IS-2s, T-34s, Su-122s, BA-64s, and some infantry.
It's an awesome set. Did the Jagdtigers ever actually make it to the Eastern Front, or were they solely Western Front?
This isn't the Eastern Front. This is Berlin.
Well, even Berlin, for that matter.
I think there
Yeah.
might have
I
been
don't think
one
there
or
was a
two.
Jagdtiger in
I think there
Berlin.
was 1 or 2 floating around, but they didn't have whole formations. They were literally grabbing
Yeah.
whatever was in the factory for rebuild. I mean, I heard that there was a Ferdinand and an elephant, one or the odd one in there as well. You know, you've even had the Kugel Blitzers. There was some Kugel. There was at least 2 Kugel Blitzers there, and possibly one of the Panthers with the AA guns. I can't remember what that's called.
I can't say.
The Curlian.
The Curlian.
Tiger in
Yeah.
Berlin. But yeah, I'd be definitely interested to know if there was.
Yeah,
Ben's
there was.
saying
There was.
red primer paint scheme straight out of the factory.
Yeah. But and Ernst underneath has said a Mark IV female for the Germans. Yeah, there was one there. I've seen the photo. I think they brought it out from a
I thought it was just a museum piece, and didn't actually see combat, did it?
So this is the time
Who
that
knows?
they're bringing everything out, isn't it? If there's an experimental one of something that's got a gun in it, they could stick it out. I mean, they even tried to wheel the prototype mouse out, didn't they? The only completed one.
Yeah, it didn't make it very far.
It didn't before getting destroyed by its own crew. But one of the things that Pete did not announce but dropped a very heavy hint for was that sometime next year there might be a plastic mouse, I believe.
I've heard rumours of late war Leviathans, so I would suspect that will be coming out with that, and we will probably maybe see a plastic IS-3. Because if they're going to use it for Checkpoint Charlie, you would expect, you know, I don't know anything for sure, but I would imagine if they're going to do late war Leviathans, then that would be what you would see.
Victor's saying the Waffenträger and 88mm gun existed in resin metal. Yeah.
Yep. So anything that they've already got in resin metal, so like the bed bugs and the Waffenträger, I reckon we'll see again.
But also the Germans get the half track with the 7.5 centimeter anti-tank gun on it, don't they?
Yep.
So that
and the SD, the 234 with the pack.
Yes.
As well.
Mm-hmm. And they're already in plastic. They just haven't. Yeah. Walkabout Games is saying hopefully Volkssturm, Hitlerjugend, because the old blisters are impossible to find.
I can find some.
Is that like
judging
you
by
can?
Oh, sorry. Go.
Is that because you can look in your collection and find them somewhere?
No, I know where they are.
He's showing it off in his bloody background. Look at all those models just waiting.
Yeah. So Ben's also saying, are there any tractors with Panzer Shreks mounted on them?
Yeah, that was the.
Is that the German version of like the Bob Semple?
Yeah.
Only it might have worked.
Yeah, I think that's. I can't remember the name for it. It's the it's the demolition vehicle. The
Borgward.
Yeah, the Borgward that they strapped 6 Panzerfausts or Shreks to it. The ones. There's a bigger, longer name, but the short is ones. The ones something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, the night fighting stuff's got to come back.
Yeah.
I saw on the picture on the front as well. They're showing the IR half track on their actual book, so you'd expect that to come back.
What about those resin and metal the Night Jagger infantry with the
big sight?
Yeah, but it was the machine gun, the assault rifle, the
STG-44.
Yeah, the STG-44 with the night sight. They look cool, those models. Yeah, I might happen to have a couple of blisters.
So,
a couple. Look, he's just a show off at this point.
He is. I know.
More than one. God.
Hey, that's what happens when you need metal infantry. So.
Yeah. So one of the things that will be coming that have been announced is the plastic Panzer II.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it there in plastic.
Which will
also
make
the
a Marder 2 and a WESP.
Vespa. So people have been
How do
correcting
you
my
pronounce that,
terrible
Harry?
German pronunciation. Vespa.
WESP.
The E is pronounced in German. I've been dropping it
Uh-huh.
like the French and I got spanked. So, yeah, no, it's Hornissa, for which I
Hornissa.
apologise for all the times I kept calling it the Hornice. It is the Hornissa and the Vespa. And Victor says, yes, Marder too.
How do you pronounce
Interesting.
Marder? Has it got an extra
Hello,
syllable
Marder.
vowel?
Hello, Father. I don't know.
Yes.
But yeah, so these are definite new plastic kits that'll be coming out, which will be very, very cool.
They look awesome too.
I do have a shot a bit later on of the sprue for the Panzer II. So unless there is another sprue that comes with it, they're actually separate kits.
I reckon there'll be a basic sprue for
And an add-on
the
sprue.
Panzer II, and then for like something like they'll have an add-on for the WESP and the Marder, because you think it'd make sense because all the tracks are the same, the body's the same, all the difference is the top.
It's just the
fighting
superstructure
compartments.
and
Yeah.
But anyway, so yes, those were announced. And then there's the two new starter forces. So there's the Soviet starter force, the M4 Sherman Forward Detachment, and for the Germans, the Tank Training Company. Do you guys want me to run through quickly what's in each one of those?
Well,
I think we can see.
But it's interesting that the German starter set has WESP and Panzer II in it. So
yeah.
Should be, I guess,
But
6.
isn't that the training company? So it's whatever training tanks they were training people with.
Yeah,
scraped together with whatever.
That was always a fun company.
There's Hetzers in there as well.
I didn't even think you could get Panzer IIs in V3 for the training company, though. So I wonder where that thought's come from.
They might be a scout unit.
So there's 3 Panthers, 2 King Tigers, 3 Panzer IVs, 3 Hetzers, 3 Panzer IIs, and 3 Vespa in the German Tank Training Company. And in the M4 Sherman Forward Detachment, you get 4 Shermans, 3 Su-122s, 3 T-70 light tanks, 3 Su-76s, 2 Katyushas, and 3 of the M17 half-tracks, the AA half-tracks, which is an interesting choice.
Yeah.
That's a lot of weird stuff.
It is. Both of them.
Yeah.
Well, I think they did mention that if you were to buy... I thought the plan for the releases, like people are saying, well, why are they releasing these weird boxes with, like, not a themed force? But I think the plan is if you were starting from new and you bought like the DD box and then you add it on, it'll eventually have all the bits, like most of the core supports, the core and main supports. So by the time if you were to collect all the starter forces, you would have pretty much everything that they made in plastic that was part of the main, a total force.
Yeah, it makes sense. It does make sense.
So Ernst is saying 76mm Shermans. Yeah, so those are M4A2 76s. I'm hoping the M4A2 Sherman kit comes with the 75mm turret as well, but
it should.
I'd be very surprised if it didn't, but I haven't seen any sprues.
The American one always had 2, because it'd be the same one as you got if you bought the American Shermans. It comes with both, so I wouldn't see. Don't see why it wouldn't.
Yeah,
surely
I can't see why it wouldn't either.
Sorry,
what was that, Christian?
I said surely it would be pretty much the same sprue as what you get for the Americans anyway, wouldn't it?
Yeah. It's a different
identical.
tank though. No, the engine deck will be different for the diesel engine.
That will be.
Only I care about that.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't know whether or not they would do that. They could. I could be.
I mean, they've
surprised.
announced the MCHA as the M4A2 in plastic, so
they did.
So yeah.
Okay.
I can't imagine them doing that with.
Well, I
without
mean,
a
when you buy
updated engine
the American one, it has a separate hull if you want to do the early. So they might do a little add-on
Yep.
sprue
Yeah.
for the MCHA. So
Fair enough. Oh well, we'll have to see because I haven't seen any plastic for that yet. So those are a couple of very interesting boxes coming up. Oh look, there's the sprue. So yeah, that's the sprue for the Panzer II.
What's the two different holes there?
I had a really good look at those, and it's just differences in stowage. So I'm guessing, and slightly different front hull shapes, as far as I can tell. Yeah, but enough of a difference that you can model it as two different variants.
I would think that the one on the right is for the Wesper because of the different angle of where the. So there must be another add-on bit.
Yeah, no, they're both tank hulls.
Yeah.
No, but look, see the front. I agree, but see the one on the right has a square front, a square.
Yeah.
Where the other one's angled, which is more. So unless that's where the hole that you would use for the Wesper, and the other one's the hole that you use for the Panzer II and the Marder. I don't know.
No idea. What I can see though is notice the way they've done the turret. The upper end of it is completely open, so you've got either the drop-in large hatch of the early ones, or you've got the drop-in cupola hatch.
I'd say the early war future-proofing it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do a plastic Panzer II, why wouldn't you make it compatible with early war as well? That would just be crazy. So yeah, they look like a lot of fun. I really want to build one of those.
So is that the difference then? Is that the difference between the hulls, an earlier version of the Panzer II, or is it?
Yeah, it'll probably be like a Panzer IIA and a Panzer IIC or something. I'm not a Panzer II surgeon.
No, I'm not.
I'm sure there are Panzer II surgeons in the comments who could help out. But yeah, it'll just be some different variant, one from earlier in the war and one from later. Because it really is just the position of stowage boxes instead of... Yeah, they're almost identical. But yeah, more stowage boxes on the one on the left. So Victor's saying he thinks one of them suitable for DAK, the other one for late war. Yeah, that's entirely possible. So yeah, that's possibly a worthwhile comment. So one of the things that was announced was dynamic points, particularly for mid-war. So that's not anything I know much about, but the still that I've got here is one I tore out of the video, and there's a Africa Corps Force there, which under the standard points comes to 100 points, and under the dynamic points comes to 90. And I think all the tanks cost slightly less, and all the armoured cars cost slightly more.
Yep, and you'll notice a lot of the self-propelled AA has gone down in points.
Yeah. That's cool.
Medium tanks have gone down in cost generally. Some things like captured 25-pounders and 6-pounders have gone up in cost because they were too cheap. You'll probably find that German AT guns have gone up in cost. It looks like that they've kept away from infantry in general, from what I can see. Mostly focused on tanks, armoured cars. Basically, anything that was an armoured car unit is in general increased. Self-propelled AA has gone down. I think in general, artillery and gun teams are about the same, unless it was like the German Pak 40. I think it looks like the German ATs overall have gone up a little bit in general.
Yep. So this is because I know Alan's been talking about this quite a bit, that there has been a lot of feedback that in mid-war there needed to be some points tweaking, that, for example, armoured car spam was just too useful and too cheap.
Yep.
So this is a bold move for Battlefront, though, to actually do this. So what you'll end up with, as far as I'm aware, the way they're doing it is there's a button on forces where you can
Yeah.
choose to use the dynamic points, which is the new updated point system, or the book points as published in the books. So that'll be something interesting for tournament organisers to think about.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm going to run a tournament with the dynamic points. I created the force, maintain Eastern Front force, and in general, with the pluses and minuses, it worked out about the same. I think I could fit a little bit more in. It kind of evens out in the wash almost. I mean, if you took a specific medium tank list, like if you I guess not min max, but you could build a force which was taking advantage of mostly of the advantages, and you'll be better off. But I guess you could argue that really it's pointed now at what it should have been rather than what it was.
Yeah.
To start with, I think it's a good. I like it. I think it's a good way forward. Because look, most guys in their garages either won't even know about it or won't care.
Yeah.
But I know the tournament guys. There wasn't a lot of people going to mid-war tournaments because they felt the tournament players felt that it wasn't balanced properly.
Yeah.
That certain things were undercosted, like armored cars and armored car spam, things like that. I mean, I know the Italian light tanks, they're gone up in price. The Italian armored cars have gone up in price, whereas the self-propelled guns have gone down. Like the Semaveta long 75s or short 75s have gone down. So it seemed that the people were paying too much for points for that dual use. Certain things I think should be still even less. Something like the SU-152, I think, should be even less. But yeah. Anyway.
So I never ran Shermans in mid-war because you just couldn't afford them.
They're cheaper now.
Yeah, so that might be fun. I might enjoy that. But I haven't even looked. I must admit, being stuck in here, I haven't gone and had much of a look.
Yeah, look, I think it'd be good. I think it'll make mid-war more played at tournaments, and I think it's a good move. And going ahead, like there was always a problem in version 3 where people would bring the same force because it basically was the cheapest, the best. And that way, I've seen them do that with GW, with Games Workshop, where they've got similar sort of things, and people are very happy at the tournament scene. They're saying it's as balanced. Like Age of Sigmar and 40k, you'll get hundreds of people going to the tournaments, and everything feedback from mates that go are telling me that it's, even though they don't like certain parts of it, it's very balanced. So that's I think good. It comes down to player skill rather than you've picked a cheese list.
But this was a big thing for Battlefront because they have for a very long time had the policy that the points are the points are the points, and if you don't like them, that's tough.
Yep. Ernst, this is for either. Sorry, Harry.
Oh yeah, I was going to address Ernst's point in a second. So yeah, the question is this just for private playing or for tournament use as well? Again, for private playing, you could do whatever you like. I mean, it's whatever you can agree with your opponent. I know in some of our Team Yankee tournaments, we've had homebrew Swedish lists, and my Australians got a bit funky because I played them properly, and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's going to be up to tournament organisers, I think, to actually say, is it book points, is it dynamic points? And you can't really mix them, can you? Because if you had somebody with a book point list coming up against a dynamic points list, they might get stomped.
You'd have to either say we're going to play book points or we're going to play dynamic points. And to be honest, I think if you're a tournament organizer and if you were going to run book points, I think you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. And I think a lot of the guys, for mid-war on this, and let's sort of be clear, at the moment this is just for mid-war. you know.
Yeah.
But I guess if they see this as being successful,
Yeah.
they will, they'll do that.
So yeah,
So-
Droxlit is just asking, do we think Late War and Team Yankee might get the same dynamic point treatment later?
If there's feedback, if there's good feedback from the community and
Yeah.
people are happy with it, I will imagine they would do the same thing.
Yeah. So it is up to us. Like if everybody spanks them because their favourite thing in the dynamic points isn't exactly where they wanted it, then you know, if it's more trouble than it's worth, then they might drop it.
But
So
I think you'll find that you'll lose something somewhere and then you'll gain it somewhere else. So like, and
Yeah.
that's what I found when I built mine. Like certain things were made more expensive, which like for the Italian L3 light tanks, they were too cheap. They should have been
Yeah.
more. Same with the martyrs for the Germans, and armored car lists and things like that. Whereas other things, I was happily surprised, like the self-propelled AA.
Yeah, that's a nice change.
Yeah, that's a good.
Oh,
change.
sorry, the tracked AA at least to be 2 points cheaper is pretty good.
Pretty much, yeah.
So completely off topic, Justin's just said, how many of you have unfinished models too?
I think you wouldn't be in this hobby if you
Yeah.
didn't have unfinished models.
I think if anybody does finish all their models, I think something terrible happens to the fabric of the universe,
Yes.
and it, you know,
Yeah.
tears you through.
I think what happens is you just get unfinished models that just teleport into your cupboard, and you're like, how did those get there? And
Yeah, I don't remember buying those.
yeah. You open a box and you find these figures that you forgot you had. Usually that's what happens with me.
It's a bit like moving to the country in Australia. So I moved from a metropolitan area to a country area, and when you arrive in a small country town, you are issued a rundown Holden to put in your shed that you have to spend the next 30 years doing up and tinkering with. You
An
know,
old tractor
that's
down
just
the
how
back
it works.
somewhere.
Or an old tractor or some sort of standing engine or some sort of rusty old farm shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
very
just
much how
a piece
this
of plow,
happens.
an old plow or something.
Yeah. Hey, Spammeray.
Alad made a comment that UK mid-war events have been using Bunninggrad shop points, and that was the one I was going to use before they built this. But I think, from what I've heard from the other TOs in the UK, they're probably going to start using the dynamic points.
I would be betting that the bun shop stuff was at least looked at.
It was
during the dynamic point stuff.
It was. We gave it to them, so
okay.
And I think if we want this to happen for Team Yankee and Late War, we need to support it. Because if we get a whole heap of guys going, oh, well, KB shouldn't be this much or whatever, then great. But I mean, you look at all the other good stuff that they did do. You know.
Yeah, and it's never going to be perfect. And the part of dynamic points is if there is a massive amount of feedback that thing X needs to be tweaked, then it can be tweaked because the dynamic points are dynamic.
Yeah.
You know, they're not fixed in stone now. So
well, they said they're going to review them every year.
Yeah, and there have been other game systems that have come up along the lines of live rules and live points. So rule systems that are always changing and evolving rather than rolling out new versions or new editions. So I'm guessing that's kind of where we're at with this.
Yeah.
So with the dynamic points, now they're having the option on forces to be able to pick if you want dynamic or book points. Will that now mean that we can include the community cards, etc., to be in that formation for like the dynamic points? If they're going to be adjusting forces for dynamic points, surely they can also add in the community stuff that they've allowed or approved as community cards?
I think that would be something good for them to do. That hasn't been done yet, but I certainly think, I don't see why not. People have got figures, and you can buy figures for them. Like when they put out their community cards, you can buy the figures. So I don't see why they couldn't do that, and they should do that. I'll have a word, but yeah.
Sweet.
So I should stop typing this message to Alad and should probably go on to the next slide, which is Nordic forces for Team Yankee. So that's the other big. So we've moved on from Flames of War. Now we're talking about Nordic forces, and that's a whole bunch of dudes that look like this.
That's a crazy looking tank or self-propelled.
Yeah, it's the S tank, the Swedish S tank. So you're not familiar with those?
Yeah.
I know
Christian?
nothing about the Nordic forces,
Oh,
but I
okay.
will say for my Team Yankee, I know people are pushing me to go to Team Yankee. I've decided that I'm going to wait and I'm going to go finish. I'm just going to start something completely. I have nothing.
Finns. Oh,
Going to know absolutely
Centurions
nothing
for you.
about. I'm just going to go straight to the Finns.
Yep. So the Nordic forces is going to be Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and Finland, isn't it? I believe.
Yep.
So yeah, we've got and there's some really unique stuff. So I mean, yeah, we've got the S tank, which is, it's got a fixed gun and no turret, but it is still considered a tank. Kevin Waters is saying, I really want an S tank just for display.
Yeah.
Man, there are going to be so many people who don't field a Swedish army, but they're going to
just
build
buy
some
them.
S tanks.
Might be a good idea just to buy a box, keep one, and then sell the rest on eBay.
Yeah, I think we're just going to have to like pass out one to everybody, so
Yeah,
everybody has a bit of a play.
You get one.
And Ernst says, "Ooh, Viggins, yeah,
Yes,
Viggins."
Viggins. I
So
reckon.
there's,
Do you reckon that's plastic or no? That's resin. I reckon.
can't tell. Yeah, it
I
looks
reckon
like
that's
resin.
Good.
Although, I mean, maybe somebody has one in plastic that they can.
No, it's too rounded. It's
No,
not.
fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, some maybe they do, but to me that's resin, metal.
Yeah.
But look at that band cannon.
Yeah,
that what it's
band
called?
cannon.
Band cannon.
You're going to be getting the corrections again soon.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, I'm
not
an
even
Australian.
attempting it. I just sit in the quiet here, just
Yeah.
nice and quiet. I won't even
Yeah.
attempt it. Just that green tank or
Yeah.
propelled gun.
Self-propelled thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, that's a bunch of unique things that are going to come out.
Mm.
It looks cool.
While it's open, I'll take one of each. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of that.
Yep.
Although,
Same
given
with me
my
and the Merkavas.
yeah, I know.
Mm.
Yeah, what have I got? I've got an Israeli army that I bought that is completely unbuilt. It's my US mech infantry that I haven't built.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got entire armies sitting in boxes that I had a brainwave like I'll field these guys and then.
Yeah, actually, I don't know about you guys, but I know what I do. What I get immense joy out. I get immense joy out of a lot of things in this hobby, but one of the main things I get is, all right, I'm going to do so I'll pick a company, I'll pick a formation, and then I'll hunt down all the specific bits that I want for that, and I'll go on eBay and whatever and grab them and find shops that have got them hiding in a corner, and I get joy out of that, and then I get joy out of actually assembling them. And, spending hours, taking all the flashing and the shit off and whatever.
Yeah.
And then painting them and then fielding them. It's like, but for me, like just that.
But if you liked plastic, that would never be a problem because you would never have to look high or low to find these kits.
Yeah. So that's
somebody like Harry, who wouldn't have any joy in that. He wants to get his.
Well, you see, my process is the other way around. Because I review all this stuff, I end up with, I'll review one, and I'll end up having bought a box of something, and it'll lie around for ages, and then suddenly there's a tournament coming up, and it's like, oh, why don't I buy the infantry to go with those and some APCs, and then I'll finish building. Like what normally happens is I buy a box set of something, it comes here, I open it, I take out one sprue, film it, build it, post the review, and then the other 4 in the box get put away somewhere for another day, and it never happens.
Mm.
So that's mine. So mine's the entire reverse of your process there, Adam.
I think that'd be naval infantry for the Soviets. I reckon if they're going to bring out like the PT-76 and the other amphibious vehicles, I don't see why. You know how they did the Panzertruppen booklet for the West Germans? I don't see why they couldn't do one of those for the Soviet naval infantry.
For the naval infantry, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, Spammerai's still talking about 3D printers and
Shermans. Go figure.
Shermans. Oh, BattleTech. We should do a BattleTech episode.
Yes, we will. Yep. I got like mix.
Yeah, I got all of mine tucked away here somewhere. So anyway,
like, what's BattleTech?
What's BattleTech? Yep. He's
if
too
it's not
young.
If it's not World War II, then this is up.
Mate, it's World War 3000.
World War 2050.
Yeah, nah, it's rubbish.
So, my favourite. There's going to be plastic Centurions. So that's going to be part of the, I'm assuming, for Denmark.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's an up-armoured one there with what looks like ERA on the front of it, or at least some sort of applique armour.
So that's the standard one above it, yeah?
Yeah, that, from the look of it, there's something wrong with that gun barrel, but that's meant to be a 20-pounder. Because that's the 20-pounder...
okay.
That's the late 20-pounder with the bore evacuator on it.
That's fins?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know,
Are they
because
definitely plastic?
we
That
used
bottom
that
right
version
one
as well.
Looks like it's got a
plastic.
bent barrel.
No, that's plastic. You can tell by the tracks and the side skirts and everything.
Maybe it's just had a really bad day.
I wouldn't want to be using that tank.
Get it some Viagra. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I really want them because I want some plastic Centurions for my NAM Australians because I'm not the only one.
You don't like those half-kilo metal resin ones?
I've got a couple of those, but, you know, I dropped them and broke my concrete floor, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like the heft, but they are heavy, those.
They are very heavy. So there's a few people putting up different nations that have had the Centurion.
Yeah.
But for a long time in NATO, it was you bought Centurions. Most of the nations, I mean, Britain had a really good time selling Centurions to just about everybody.
It's funny, though, that Britain really hasn't been a tank exporter after that. And basically, they're getting rid of their tanks, from what I can tell. They're lucky to have 200-300 tanks now.
Yeah, they are down to 200-ish tanks, I believe, but they might have to revisit that. Because they are talking about doing the Challenger 3, aren't they? But
yeah,
I mean, they were talking about ludicrously small numbers of those.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, maybe 200-300.
Although British armour development went into some weird rabbit holes in the 50s and 60s. I watch a guy called Armoured Archive, who's a lot of fun. And he just spends his time trolling the archives of all the weird British development vehicles, like the heavily armoured Malkara carriers that carried huge Malkara anti-tank missiles inside them and had a big hatch on the side where you just stick it out and fire it at people. Yeah, they did crazy stuff like that. So I think possibly they went down a few too many rabbit holes with some of that. Anyway, but that's my 5 cents worth on
Charioteers.
on that.
That'd be cool if the Finns had charioteers.
Oh, yeah. Droxlit saying, are those reactive armour? Yeah, looks like it. Yeah, because I was looking at tandem warheads again the other day when I was talking about the VDV infantry for Red Dawn, and yeah, it's only useful against Soviet tanks at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, charioteers would be fun, but I can't imagine that they could handle all of the Centurion variants, because Pete did say in the announcement that it would be most of them, of the variants, but you'd never be able to stick a charioteer turret in there as well, because that's on the Comet base, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe it's an upgrade from the Comet. Israeli. Yeah.
Yep, plastic Centurion.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are we going from here? Then there's NATO forces, so that's coming a bit later. There wasn't a specific date for that, I seem to remember. Sorry, I'm just running off to look at my notes again. So Nordic forces is coming in July.
Yeah.
September. NATO forces is out in September. Great big question mark. is what I have in my notes.
It probably
Some good
depends on the
notes.
factory and
Yeah,
that
it
sort of thing.
absolutely will.
Yeah.
All of this stuff is dependent on stuff happening. Oh,
Mm.
yeah. So I didn't put anything in there. But that's basically the big revamp of Free Nations, isn't it?
Yeah, I reckon you'll get things like the Leclerc for
For the French.
the French. I don't know about anything else. You might see something added, like maybe the Belgians. I don't. Who knows?
They might sort
Yeah.
the Australians out.
They could, maybe.
That would be nice. So Pete did say there would be a new nation, Trekkans.
That'd be
that
cool.
up.
I'd like to see.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Italy, but they would need a lot of specific, special.
Yeah, there's a few
Vehicles.
votes for Italians though.
Yeah, I like Italians. I like anything I play generally have some sort of Italians in it. But I would.
Yeah,
I think they would have a lot of specific special vehicles. So it's something I'd like
Yeah.
to see, but it would be a lot of a new investment, I guess. Specific investment.
yeah.
Mm.
And yeah, so Panzer Paints is asking what will be the new nation. They've been very cagey about that, so they haven't said anything. The Leopard 2 A6 guns already on the sprue. Ben's talking about the Grizzly for the Canadians. Might be fun.
Yeah.
We've got Turkey or Italy.
Turkey.
Yeah. That'd be
Okay.
interesting, because what's that? M60s with add-on armor.
Turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know much about
Yeah,
them.
no, not up on my Turkish. Belgium, Italy would be a new theatre of the war. So yeah, unless they wrote a narrative that the Italians came up from the south to join in the fighting, then yeah, then.
Mm.
But hey, it had Australians in it, so
Hey, it
You
could be
it's-
it could be
Kiwis.
what's that little country? Not Liechtenstein.
Kiwis, aren't they just like Australia light?
Yeah, basically. All they get is
Ooh,
Scotland.
we're in trouble now. We are in trouble now.
Tiny spades, hammers, and axes. Hello, Panzer.
Yeah, hey, Frank.
And Frank's here. Hey, Frank.
I
Yeah, so
thought you'd be painting Zulus, thousands of them.
all right, so let's get on then, because that takes us to NAM. So that's been out of production. So production was halted on NAM, Fate of a Nation, and Great War while the factories were shut down with COVID and what have you. It was all just too hard. So Pete announced that NAM would be coming back. They intend to have what he called a NAM month, but no date was actually specified for that. So I'm guessing that'll be whenever they crank out enough NAM stuff.
I would
Well-
guess late in the year, but I
Will
don't
they be
know.
releasing like some of the older resin stuff? Because I know the Cobra, they're using the new plastic sprue, but I know it's the modern Cobra, not the
Yeah, not
earlier
the G.
version of the Cobra.
Mm.
So stuff like that would be awesome to see back. Same with the Huey gunship and all that other. Cool
I
stuff.
can't see them doing that. That would just be adding SKUs to their, they're
they're
worried about how
doing-
big their range is.
If they're
They
doing a
might
NAM month, so like with the special choppers that they released for Team
Yeah,
Yankee,
maybe.
I wonder if it's part of that NAM month that will be like, hey, you can have this, because I know some of those Huey gunships go for good money on eBay and stuff. They're highly
I
sought
think
after.
they might do. I don't know about a limited run, but like you saw with a lot of the mid-war stuff, that anything that was resin metal that they didn't want to put into plastic yet, they redid the molds.
Right.
So, and that's a lot cheaper than the plastic. So I'd imagine they would do that. I mean, and they might do something like GW did with that made to order
Yeah.
thing. So like, how they had the premium property subscription, which I always thought was a bargain. I always grabbed. But they might do something like that. where you can, like, they say, right, email us and we're going to do, I don't know, Huey gunships. So everyone prepays for a Huey gunship and
Yep.
it'll come out by such and such time. But I think that'd be a good way to go.
Because did the Aussies have the Iroquois as well in NAM, or was that after NAM?
Yeah, they had the Huey. So yeah, you can do air mobile with Australians, but what they've given us in Australian forces, because I've got an Australian army that's like half built for NAM, they give you the little UH-6 helicopter, the little thing as your observation helicopter. But we actually used the little Bell 13s or whatever they were, the little mash choppers, basically. But we'll never see one of those because that's like, made out of matchsticks and.
Yeah.
I remember your mid-war Aussies or Brits using the NAM mortars, I think it was, that you brought. Tournament ones. Yeah, they're cool dudes.
All those pink hairy chests. Yep, those guys.
Yeah,
well, interestingly, when I did that, I didn't realise that when you buy the mortar firebase, it's actually off table. So
right.
you buy it as part of your list, but there's not actually any minis for it. So I actually bought a bunch of miniatures for the mortars and built them for NAM, and then went, oh, it's not supposed to be on the table. Whoops.
Battlefront released a YouTube video, I think when they did NAM, like the rehaul of NAM, and it was such a cool video. Like they had like the air cav coming in, and then they had the local forces where it was like the civilians walking around. Then you rolled a dice to see if the local troops come out and stuff. I thought it was awesome. I'd love to get into it.
It's got some interesting mechanics because they've got wound mechanics. So if you get a wound on a stand, they can actually pass that wound off to other units until you can get it medevaced. So you actually have wound markers that you can pass from stand to stand within a certain radius and then get them off to helicopters to basically take a wound off your unit and stuff like that. There are some interesting mechanics in that game.
Yeah,
Lots of people in the comments are talking about bushrangers. Did they ever do a proper Australian bushranger mini for NAM? Because it's completely different to the US Huey Hog.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
What I always found interesting with Vietnam was the French at, is it Dien Bien Phu?
Dien Bien Phu. Yeah.
Yeah. But they never really did that. It's all US versus NVA and all that sort of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. Droxlit says he would take his NVA versus European formations. That would be interesting.
That'd be cool.
Like Soviets versus PAVN or... Or is that just too weird? Should we just move on? So they are going to bring NAM back. That is something that they're talking about for this year, and they're going to do a NAM month. So that brings us to Great War and Fate of a Nation. Basically, they said, yeah, sometime as factory space.
TM.
No, soon wasn't a word that they used.
Okay.
The words they used were as factory capacity comes up. So I can't see this being on the agenda for 2023.
Well, unless they just mean not that anything new will come out, but that you will actually at least be able to buy them.
Yeah, no, again. I think even that they don't have the capacity to do it. So they've decided they're going back to producing NAM, but these other ones are on the list.
Okay.
But it's a bit like, I mean, they mentioned early war as well. I haven't got a slide for that, but Pete basically said, we love early war. It's not on the release schedule. So, you know, they love it. They will do it, but
they kind of at least need another factory, or another team or something. And it's nothing against them. It's just I think they've got a lot of people that are interested in a lot of different periods.
Yeah.
So it's not like 40k or fantasy where it's all the one period and we just keep on pumping out,
Same stuff.
Yeah, I think it's great that they've done this, but it also means that you pretty much need to buy them when it comes out, and then either then pay stupid prices on eBay or find it in some store hidden around the corner somewhere. So
yeah. Yeah, so what else? World of Tanks they mentioned. So, I mean, this isn't really a World of Tanks channel, but they did mention that they would have the Super Pershing, the Churchill, the Nashorn, and the T-54 coming out for World of Tanks.
Did you see that they're doing an IS-7?
No, I did not see that.
That's on the World of Tanks page. It's a limited run metal IS-7 vehicle with a big DS Dushka on top.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
What they did say is they're going to start doing platoon packs, which will be 3 different tanks from one nation, and they've got 4 of those starting in April.
It's not going to be a random one, is it?
No, it's not random, but you get 3 different tanks. So you get like a Tiger, a Panzer IV, and a something else in a German one.
I don't know if anyone's ever played. There used to be Axis and Allies World at Sea, which was a great game, and you'd buy a box but it'd have random figures in it.
Yeah.
I found that was very exciting. You'd go, I bought a crate of figures, and then you just didn't know what was in there. I've got 3 of those.
Interestingly, it's like unboxing videos, the random mystery unboxing videos. That apparently it's a huge hit with kids, just opening Kinder Surprises.
Yeah.
Like if we wanted to make big money on YouTube, we'd just buy a shitload of Kinder Surprises and then just open them online because apparently
why don't we just
love the reveal.
Get something like that for man, baby, adults like us.
Yeah.
And then just, what have we got today?
Oh, I got interesting news for you. That is a planned video for me. So given my mother-in-law's been living with us, I have done an awful lot of crying into my beer 2 o'clock in the morning model ordering. And I have boxes of stuff that has just arrived that I haven't opened. So I have discussed with you guys some of these purchases. And they are sitting in boxes and they've been there for weeks, if not months now, to the point where I only vaguely know what's in them. So I am actually going to if I'm stuck in quarantine much longer, I'm going to have those boxes thrown through the window at me. And I will just do a live unboxing video of what the fuck did I buy in September? Open it up and have a look. Oh, I said a rude word. Sorry, we can't get monetized now. Sorry.
Fuck.
My bad.
On.
All right. So let's go back to the slides because we've done the what did Pete say? But that moves us on to what are our plans for 2023?
Looks like war crimes to me.
It does look like war crimes.
Hey, you can't film on a bigger base, all right? It's is what it is. So yeah, this is obviously mine.
Take that, Jerry.
Yeah, cop that. I think that's supposed to be Sean Connery if you've watched A Bridge Too Far. So my plan is British Airborne for late war. I've already got a platoon worth, which I did a painted tutorial on like months ago now. But yeah, that's my plan. So that'll be for Market Garden.
Yours will look better than the box of Paras I bought. We'll have a look.
Oh yeah, if you got the plastic ones, haven't you?
Yeah, I got the plastic ones. Oh, you got metal ones.
Yeah, the plastic ones. Yeah.
Goblin noses.
Yeah, I got a sample from someone and it's just like, nah, they're just not for me. The metal ones win.
Fair enough. So that's one of your plans. Droxlit's asking, are we getting Volksturm or Hitler Youth again?
Surely, you'd have to.
Don't know. You would have to.
You would think so.
I would think, but...
Because, I think Adam said, you're going to lose the Russians will gain the better experience, and the Germans will have the reverse. So they would have to be Hitler Youth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
So Trekan said his resolutions for 2023 are to finish the Syrians and Israelis for Team Yankee.
Yep.
The Syrians must be a big paint
Yeah,
job.
Syrians is different. This isn't 15 millimeter. This is 20 mil. My plan
You
is
scale traitor.
20 mil. Yeah, I just love the detail in 20 mil. It's like the perfect balance for me. I've painted bolt action before, or like 28 mil, but 20 mil just sits right with me. You can game on it, and it's still relatively big. But I'm going to stick with Flames of War, obviously, but I had to paint some of this stuff. These have only been painted through for tutorials I've been releasing as well, but I love these figures. These are AB figures, if anyone's interested. Superb detail, honestly, the best. Love these.
So Drocklet says, how dare you, scale traitor.
I know, I'm in trouble. I'll just go away now.
All right.
And then back to 15 mil. So I want to continue with like my Chindits / Australians. Well, wherever you want to go, they can be used for either. I've got some actual Battlefront Indians that I'm going to be painting up next to accompany these, and then I've got some grants and some priests that I'm going to paint up. Thank you very much. And these are Eureka models, if anyone is interested. Yeah, ban me. Trekken can have all of my models that are sitting, the thousands of dollars worth of models that I've still got to paint, so I'm not going anywhere.
Cancel Christian. We have to cancel Christian now. All right, so that's what you're doing for 2023.
And I'm planning to bring them to the mid-war tournament that Adam's planning.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Look forward to seeing
I'll
them.
just drag out whatever crap I've already got painted.
Some NAM.
Some NAM, yeah. I'll get my mortar guys out for NAM.
Hey, cool. Drocklet was asking, do any of us play like World of Tanks or that sort of stuff? Yeah, I used to play a shitload of World of Tanks, and then I got sick of the Russian bias and the gold spamming, and now I play World of Warships a lot. But yeah, I think that actually is good. That I think that's what BF is trying to get into, in getting the guys that play World of Tanks to then buy the figures through that, and then like an entry level drug kind of thing. But yeah.
I used to play it with my nephews, so we would have somebody's Panzer III versus some Super Pershing somewhere, and weirdly enough, it wasn't a bad matchup in tanks. So I don't mind it. Interestingly, the guys on Modelling for Advantage play it, and they play it like a proper war game, because I played it like a beer and pretzels thing. Like I've got one tank, you've got one tank. Yeah, the tanks thing.
Yep.
Yeah, they actually play it like I have 2 platoons of 3 Panzer IIIs and a Panzer IV.
Oh, rightio. Yep. So they're kind of doing like a skirmish level.
And it was actually really, really good. If you guys haven't seen Modelling for Advantage, Johnny B and the Restless Kaiser have several tanks and World of Tanks videos where they have built coherent forces, and it actually plays as a really cool, very quick, interesting game played on a proper table with proper terrain as units working together. It's really very cool.
Sounds cool.
Because I did play the Team Yankee tanks, and I found that was good. Like you could almost customize it a little bit, your forces.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't see why the World War II tanks wouldn't be just as fun. Yeah, so for me, for 2023, as you can see, I've got my Eastern Front Italians. So this is a different type of Italians to my Desert Italians. So I've got some Bersaglieri riding the motorcycles up the top there. I've got the little assault guns that could on the right, the Semiveta 4732s, which were basically the most heavily armed vehicle that the Italians had on the Eastern Front. Yeah. And mate, they were fighting him.
You're not going to tell me that's a 47mm anti-tank gun stuffed on the front of there, are you?
That is what
Ooh.
is supposed to be on that. So that's the same gun in their M14s.
Mm-hmm.
And then underneath it, on the left-hand side, there is a 3D printed AS7 armored car. So the Italians did build a few of these. I think they mostly were in the desert. I don't think anywhere actually in the Eastern Front, in the desert in Rome, like in Tunisia, like late Desert War and around Rome. I know the Germans captured some. But I think you can fit, I think, about 8 guys in the back of that, plus driver.
We need to see you put some models in there. You've done such a
No.
good job. We want to see
No.
some infantry. The people want
No.
it.
Nah.
No,
Oh, come on.
It's all about the
No.
tanks, man.
it's all about the vehicles. So those are actual proper gun slits on the side there. They're supposed to have.
Oh, right.
So they're
that's
not just like flappy hatch things.
No, it's
Yeah,
a
I thought they
fighting
were a
position.
hatch. Oh,
No,
that's
it's a
cool.
fighting position.
Right,
And then
okay.
actually there's a later variant
Nice.
where the whole bit is enclosed. So it's got like an armored box for a roof and gun slits. So yeah,
Nice.
the Germans like them, but they just, after the Italians surrendered, they focused production on other things. Yeah. So here's my Eastern Front force. So it's basically a motorcyclisty force. So I've used the motorcyclisty command card. So this.
Oh man, I am such an idiot. Why have I put the support stuff first?
Because that's how it lists it. It's silly.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a command
So it
card
wasn't me.
formation. No,
All right.
it's forces. So if you go to the next one.
Good.
So
sorry,
that'll
I thought that
actually-
was COVID brain making me put it the wrong way around.
No. So there's the HQ. You've got a large rifle platoon and a small rifle platoon. So the motorcyclistic command card can only go on the small rifle platoon and the Breda HMG team.
Yep.
So I've got 2 of those. I've got 5 L640s, which were another vehicle that they did have on the Eastern Front. I've got some 47mm anti-tank guns, some AA vehicles, and I've got 4 Semivente long self-propelled. Now that's what used to be a mid-war monster. They didn't have them on the Eastern Front, so I'm not actually going to use the models. What I'm going to use is a German Stug F8.
Oh, okay.
For them.
Do you want me to flip back to the?
Yeah, if you go back to the other one. So I've still got the assault engineer platoon. I've got some armored cars. Now I've got the 100mm howitzer, but I've also got the captured 25-pounder artillery. So what I'm going to do for that is use some captured Russian ZIS-3 76mm to represent those. I'm going to have I've got the Falco, the planes. So those excellent planes that Christian painted up for me. That's what those are going to be. And the Lanciers. I'm not actually bringing a Lancia. That's going to be 4 of those Semivete 42. I'm going to use the community card. You just can't do that in forces.
Yeah.
Pardon me. At the moment. So yeah, that's
Fair
my
enough.
plan for part of 2023 is getting that painted up, and then the next one is I've got interested in the assault pioneers at Stalingrad. So I've got the old Oberfeldwebel Schmidt German platoon there. So that's that guy there with his little iron cross. And I've used a mix of the old German late war pioneers. So I'm going to have 2 platoons and then a kind of a mixed elite grenadier platoon. That's going to be that'll be that. Try and match it up with some actual fit, something that's actually going to fit. So I'm going to use those BF rubble bases. You know how you can have the rural or the rubble themed bases. So that's one of the rubble ones there for the command squad. I'm going to use that. Use them for all those guys. They're going to make them a bit different. And then the other thing is that we were talking about all this Team Yankee. Now I've got an Israeli force to build or a French force to build. Nothing's assembled. It's all in boxes. So I don't know what. But then I saw the Swedes.
Yeah.
So,
those sweet Swedes.
I guess it depends on when they're going to get released. What did you say? June, July?
NATO forces is in September and Nordic forces in July. Yep.
Yeah,
So
maybe
it'll
that'll be
roll
the
out
second
July,
half of the
August. Yeah.
year.
I really want a command base with the Swedish Chef Muppet on it, though.
I think they should do that as part of the force. Like,
what's this unit going to do? Instigaste Nerdenferden. Hurdy. We are going to get demonetized and lose all our international visitors.
No,
Hello, international visitors.
Said with
Oh,
love.
dear. Yeah, said with love by weird Australians. So, yeah, the French, they have all sorts of weird, fun stuff. So, I mean, that would be a fun force to build. I can't.
I like those
Oh, no.
macabres too.
ABBA
No,
on the
ABBA.
command base.
Yeah.
Swedish Chef has had enough of the Soviets.
Yeah.
It's the Chirpid weapon.
Did you see some Russian tank commander drove his tank into a tree and got the barrel stuck?
No, I didn't see that. But
Literally,
don't mention where that might have happened.
I'm
or
not
we really
mentioning
will
where
get-
that happened. But oh my god!
Uh,
And,
the Macabre is a great little kit to build, though. I mean, I have a Israeli force in boxes that I was enthusiastic about at some point, and I built the one for the review and nothing else.
it looks
I've even
like a
got the
lovely
infantry tucked away somewhere. It is a lovely
kit.
kit.
I just love how it's even got those little weighted chain things on the underneath of the basket on the back there. You know.
Yeah.
What about the 3 MGs on the bloody top of it? That's crazy.
More Daka.
Mm.
Oh, hey, Helka Maluri from Finland. He's got some. He's actually got a finished
They've got a
force already.
fin. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's the problem with mine, though. They're never finished.
Yeah.
Problem.
So I think that's us out of slides because I didn't think we were going to get this far, so I didn't put any slides on for me. But I can reach from here. VDV. So all the Red Dawn VDV stuff I really wanted. I already have a motor rifle company, like quite a large motor rifle company for Soviets. But I'm going to have to throw all of those out now and build T-64 BVs, BMDs, and these guys. So I don't know.
They are nice
Look,
figures.
metal infantry.
Superior
Good
metal.
work.
Even
loves it.
Mr. Plastic is going to do some metal infantry. These guys are really, really nice. I've written the script. I just really, really need to get the right camera in here so I can film this. Dear. So that's my plan for 2023.
I've also heard of the country that shall not be named.
Yes.
Is actually getting some of the AMX R10C. Those the vehicles in the slide before. They're talking about giving them some of those.
Yeah. Droxlet wants to field some of the VDV infantry as the old Afghansi formation.
Yeah, that'd look cool.
That would look cool.
That'd look really cool.
So I think we have achieved today's objective, which is to have a look at the Christmas thing. There's a lot of fun stuff coming. I really like the Christmas announcement. I don't know if that's something you guys hang out for.
Yeah, I do. I like watching it.
Yeah.
And Pete always looks really uncomfortable when he's doing it, but, you know,
He's getting
it gets
better.
watched with a lot of love. He is getting better. I know it doesn't seem to be his natural thing. He doesn't like to get out the front and do that, but I think that adds to the charm, to be honest.
Yeah.
And he does like to drop subtle and not so subtle hints about, you know, plastic mouse and all sorts of other stuff.
Yeah, and it's like you could, like I know, it's like Chris and like
Wayne.
Probably are like, no, we're not going to say anything because we'll get in trouble. But we'll let Pete.
Yeah, we'll let Pete do
he's
it
the boss.
because they can't tell him off.
Yeah. Yeah, Ernst is saying they're
dear.
getting 80s Martyrs and Bradleys. Yeah, well, I mean, that's if the Germans are going to pull their finger out and give them anything. But yeah.
Yeah. So we've looked at that. We've looked at 2023. To be honest, my really short-term goal for 2023 is just being able to leave this room. That'd be
get out of the
really, really nice. We talked about my toileting arrangements in here, which is somewhat primitive. So yeah, I've been at this for 2 weeks. So yeah, I'm ready for out.
Sun showering with the caravan shower.
With the hose outside in a bar of soap.
Nice.
Luckily, we live in the country, so public
been hot
nakedness and stuff like that is just, people just don't look.
Oh, it'll be nice and brisk in the morning.
He's doing it again.
Yeah.
Don't look, Ethel, but it's too late. She looked. Oh dear, I'm sorry. We have to stop that because we might be, we might get called childish again or something.
About that, actually.
About that, yeah.
So, I mean, the guy kind of was sort of complaining that we didn't do much on the Pacific, and what we'd like to see. What I would like to see with the Pacific is Australian Commonwealth Commandos for if they ever did Pacific.
Yeah, they would be fun.
And the New Guinea Rifles, the volunteer militia guys.
Yeah, that would be cool.
They'd be cool because apparently they did really good work on the Kokoda Trail and that sort of area.
Yeah.
Probably not the best, as in last stand kind of morale wise, but as far as bush skills and stuff, I think they were really good.
So James says I've given him far too much information. But yeah, no, those would be good things for the Pacific to add those. So yeah, because Christian was suddenly and unexpectedly unable to join us in the previous live stream, we were a little bit kind of caught short because we'd gone, that's Christian's problem, whoop, and we'd concentrated on other things. So it was like, oh, he's not here. What would Christian say if he was here? What would Christian do?
There was definitely no British in the Burma.
Yeah,
definitely no British.
But look, at the end of the day, constructive criticism's always a good thing. Like we're a new group of people that's starting out, and he wasn't being mean or anything. He was just saying, "Look, I was just a bit disappointed in that," and that's fair enough.
Yeah,
like,
and that's fair enough if we're not doing stuff.
It's always good. So we know for next time when we
just
say we're going
in case anybody hadn't noticed, we had some dislikes in our previous prognostication video. But I mean, I think we all ended up speaking to the guy who commented about that, and
it was awesome. He was fine.
Yeah, he was fine.
I think he was just disappointed. That was all.
Yeah, and that's fair enough because I mean, we started with Team Yankee. We spent a lot of time on that. Part of the problem was we just didn't have a lot of concrete information about
because there isn't
the Flames of War because there wasn't any.
And it was what we wanted to see, not what they were going to be releasing. It's what we were expecting and like what we'd want to see. So, whatever we said isn't gospel anyway. It's just what we're hoping.
Absolutely not. It's, 3 Australian nupties guessing about what might happen, So, yeah, we knew a lot more like 2 weeks later when Pete did the Christmas broadcast.
Yeah, which effectively we're saying that there's going to be no Pacific this year.
Yeah. So
there was a lot of no Pacific. So yeah, if you're hanging out for your Pacific, you'll be able to buy some Shermans to go with it. So Spamurai will be happy about that. But you can have some M4A2s, but that's about it.
If you're hanging for Pacific, there are other manufacturers of the scale that you can go to for the time being.
Yeah, Eureka makes excellent.
Actually, the Eureka ones are fantastic.
Japanese, Americans in the Pacific, early war Americans. They're,
we really should get the Eureka guys on to talk to us.
Yeah, we should.
So if you guys would be interested in that, in the comments, let us know. Eureka Miniatures are an Australian manufacturer. I've bought some modern Australians of theirs.
Yep, I know they do Bushmasters.
They do Bushmasters.
Yep. I've spoken to Nick quite a few times at Eureka, and he's open as well to creating new ranges or whatever. Just if there is demand for it, so it'd be awesome to get him on.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that is pretty much where we should leave it. Again, thank you very much for everybody who's come and joined us. I'm very pleased with how this is going. We've got like 27 people watching us at the moment. We always run over time because we're having too much fun. And hopefully you guys are enjoying the content, that we're talking about stuff that you guys care about. So yeah, thank you for joining me on this COVID episode of Table Ready. Is there any closing comments from any of you guys before we go?
I'll just say Happy New Year, everyone, and yeah, thanks for supporting us and supporting the channel, and let us know what you want to see next month, because it's always an open book with us. We're happy to do anything. So, other 15 mil related. But
yeah. No, absolutely. I don't actually feel like I've had Christmas or New Year stuck away in here, so I kind of forgot about that. So yes, Happy New Year from us. And we should probably call it there. So thanks for joining us, and we will see you in a month or so.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys. See ya.